Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar, Unleashing AI Potential, Streamlining Life Science Content Validation and Generation. In an era where the volume and complexity of content in life sciences are rapidly expanding, AI is becoming a key driver in transforming how we generate, validate, and manage content efficiently while maintaining regulatory compliance. We are fortunate to have a panel of distinguished experts who will share their insights on leveraging AI to overcome the unique challenges in this area. Let me introduce our today's speakers. Dan Attia, head of eWizard. Dan is a seasoned expert in the life science industry and technology, boasting over 20 years of experience. Currently serving as the head of eWizard at Viseven, Dan is responsible for the product strategy direction and growth. Roman Vasilenko, Chief Technology Officer of V7, where he oversees the development and implementation of cutting edge digital solutions for the life science industry. He leads a talented team of developers committed to delivering exceptional results and helping clients optimize their marketing campaigns and strategies. Dennis Loud, Head of Life Science Commercial Strategy and Solutions and EVS. And his role, he provides strategic guidance to global clients, facilitating their digital transformation initiatives to effectively address evolving industry demands. My name is Victoria Swiderska. I'm the Product Marketing Manager at V7, and I will be moderating our webinar today. So let's dive into our discussion. As the life sciences companies grapple with regulatory complexities and content fragmentation, understanding these challenges is critical to improving efficiency and compliance. Dan, please share your thoughts on the hurdles organizations face and how they can tackle them head on.
Great, thanks, Victoria, and thanks for joining us today. It's an honor to be here and talk about this extremely important topic to the life sciences industry. So yeah, we decided to kick off this panel really discussing what's at the heart of the challenges in the life sciences content management space. And when I think about this, I try to boil it down to really three main areas. The first area is around the complex regulatory environment and the lengthy approval process due to the strict compliance and requirements. The second is around a very fragmented MarTech ecosystem. So there's disconnected tools and platforms really leading to inconsistent content management. And then really the third is around data silos. So limited content reuse and collaboration across departments, really risking that compliance and operational efficiencies. So if I try to dive into those 3 points, as we all know, the life sciences industry really faces a unique set of challenges in content management. And I believe that the primary challenge is navigating that highly complex and dynamic regulatory landscape, right? So each piece of content must undergo meticulous review and approval by the medical, legal, and regulatory process. And this can be time consuming and introduce delays in bringing content to market. The MarTech ecosystem further complicates content management, right? Life sciences companies often use multiple disconnected platforms for content creation, management, and the distribution of that content, really leading to fragmented workflows. And as a result, you end up with consistency issues across channels and the regions, and it becomes very challenging. And the last is around data silos. Different departments and regions often store these pieces of content in disparate systems, making it difficult to share, reuse those valuable assets. So, this fragmentation not only leads to inefficiencies, but really also poses risk for compliance, as teams maybe unknowingly use outdated and unapproved content. And really the result is increased operational cost, delays, and potential compliance risks. So while those are like the 3 buckets of challenges, inside those 3, we also believe that there's other challenges around things like globalization and localization, right? So while global pharmaceutical companies aim for a unified brand messaging, they really must cater to that diverse local markets that have unique regulatory compliance, linguistic requirements, and managing this balance is challenging because it requires creating and managing multiple versions of the content, each tailored for specific market needs while maintaining overall brand consistency. So really ensuring accurate translation and localization, it really is another hurdle that we need to think about. The other is around content redundancy and really the inefficient process around reuse, right? So that lack of unified content repository and standardized processes, it really create content from scratch. Organizations tend to create content from scratch rather than reusing existing assets, right? And I think one of the key parts of the content structure is the absence of a structured taxonomy and metadata tagging system, which intensifies the problem, right? Making it very difficult to find and reuse that relevant content quickly. And I think, maybe lastly across those three that I talked about are around the coordination across diverse stakeholders, right? Content development in life sciences involves various stakeholders, as we all know, including marketing teams, the MLR review teams, external agencies, global affiliates, and ensuring this seamless collaboration and communication among these stakeholders is difficult, especially in a remote and hybrid work environment that we're all used to. So I think some of these additional challenges in those three, what I believe are the high-level buckets of challenges across content management, life sciences, I think really boils down to what we are seeing and underscoring the need for innovative solutions around AI to streamline the processes and ensure compliance. I'll kick it over to the other panelists to give their perspective on any of the challenges that may have missed or any ideas that they may have.
Thank you very much, Daniel, for the sharing your thoughts. Of course, I have a few comments regarding your list of challenges. First of all, I fully support all the challenges you just mentioned. And you have touched the topic regarding localization, globalization, and here I can speak about the multilingual content management, because right now, pharma creates a lot of content using a lot of languages. And if you're speaking about searchability and reusability, especially if we're speaking about the different kind of languages, it's a big pain, because right now, without innovative technologies, without right tagging and taxonomy, it's really hard to find the exact piece of information and especially reuse it for content creation. That's why the challenge we have is like a duplication, a lot of the same information, a lot of claims, key messages, just the same meaning, but finally our repositories or dumps becomes like a big, how to say, a ton of unuseful information finally. That's why I think and I hope AI exactly will help us to handle this challenge, especially this challenge. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, perhaps from my perspective, just want to add what Dan and Roman said, also coming a little bit from the customer perspective, because that is also a significant driving force that, the different healthcare stakeholders we are dealing with in life science, they are also expecting a personalized experience. And that means, of course, you need to deal with a lot of variety of content, a lot of volume of content, huge complexity. And that, of course, I think Dan also mentioned that that is something which puts a lot of pressure, because if you don't have any technology to also enable intelligent automation, it puts a huge pressure on the organization to deal with this increasing volume, complexity, and also variety of content for the organization. And that's the holy grail, where you sometimes hear the words of personalization at scale, modularization at scale. That's the holy grail all companies want to deliver against, but that means a lot needs to happen in terms of the processes of the underlying data management infrastructure, really to understand the needs of the customers, but also in terms of then the downstream processes, where you need to think about how then technology can really help with intelligent automation, because having the opportunity to work with many pharma customers, it's still a very manual process, and we are still very much in the beginning of considering AI technologies such as AI and machine learning and natural language processing to help this end-to-end end-to-end content management process. But I would say we are very much still in the early days, and that is something I believe now there's an increasing pressure also on the industry really to reconsider how they can use those technology. But I believe also, and we will discuss this, I think a little bit later, also how technology can help, because for me it's important also to say technology is not a panacea. So sometimes I see now a lot of customers, they are jumping directly on, oh, Gen AI can solve everything. It can't. I think very much important is also for customers to think about what kind of problem I would like to address, and then work backwards from that problem, and then to decide what's the right technology which might help me with that problem and how I can address this problem. I think that's also very much critical in terms of to be successful in this transformation journey, to also unleash now opportunities to reimagine the content management process in pharma life science. And also what I also have seen, what is very much important is also the external environment, which again puts a lot of pressure. In the past, when we think about when launches have been done in the pharmaceutical industry, you were dealing with whatever 2, 3, 4 launches every year, and then you had enough time in terms of also preparing your marketing material, your promotion material, your education material. Now we see an ecosystem where a lot of pharma companies have a significant portfolio, and they are moving from these big blockbusters to more micro launches, where you need to orchestrate up to 10 launches in a year. And that, of course, it's not working with the old habits, with the old practices, that you do a lot of those things in a manual way, because then you will miss a point in this critical launch window that you have your content ready to educate your customers, to educate healthcare professionals, to educate patients. And we all know that, in particular, the first 6 to 12 months of a launch are so much critical to be successful. And I believe that is also another factor we see at the moment, why pharma also needs to reconsider their current content management processes, because if they are not able to, like you said, Dan, accelerate content to market, they will also fail to be successful with their upcoming launches, and to orchestrate many more launches they have done in the past.
Yeah.
So that's what I would like to add, from some signals also we see with customers, why also at the moment content management becomes, and that's very interesting, a senior executive priority. So we have really with C-level executives, we have discussions around that topic. We never had that in the past because it was mainly on a very much operational level.
Mhm.
Now it becomes really a strategic imperative for life science companies to think about how they can really transform their end-to-end content management processes.
Agreed, Dennis. I love what you just talked about how they're moving away from those blockbusters into smaller things, because it does speak to the importance of how do you get that content out quickly, because you have more launches than you would have in the past. So great points.
Yeah, and sorry, Victoria, just a
Mhm.
comment from my side. Yeah, today's AI is really buzzwords, and finally, AI is just one of many tools to achieve the goal. Yeah, and it's really crucial, to be honest. It's focusing on the value that AI can bring us or clients and so on and so forth. That's why technology for technology doesn't matter, because any automations, any improvements of our solutions we are doing to bring the value to the clients, to help the clients be more efficient, to do the routine work better, and so on and so forth. Yeah, fully agree with you that. Yeah.
Mhm. Thanks, Roman, for reading. A big thank you to our speakers for sharing such valuable insights and perspectives. As Dennis previously mentioned, our next section is about technologies. So now, Roman will take us through the exciting developments in AI technology and how they are shaping content workflows. From content generation to content validation, AI holds enormous potential to revolutionize content management process. Roman, please share your insights on this transformation.
Yeah, thank you very much, Victoria. And to be honest, you are fully right that recently, the recent decades have completely changed the IT industry, and the cloud computing revolution and the availability of large amounts of data have created a solid foundation for the rise of AI technology. And I hope you all know that the 2017 research paper, so-called "Attention is All You Need," which introduced the transformer architecture and self-attention mechanism, trigger a new way of AI development and significantly speed up the AI revolution. And to be honest, finally, AI has become much closer to humans. And today's AI-powered chatbots, AI assistants are an integral part of our daily lives. And a lot of companies trying to integrate AI to their products, to their solutions, because AI becomes like a mainstream. But I want to repeat one more time that focusing on the value is the most crucial thing. And one more time, AI just a tool as the other tools to bring bring the value, to bring the value to the users. And of course, having the right technology, right, to have the right tech stack, which allows you to reach the goal quicker and efficiently without reinventing the wheel, is essential today. And of course, thanks to AWS Cloud and the innovative technologies that it offers, we are able to deliver value to our clients much better, much faster. And what about content management? What about content management and AI for today? And unfortunately, nowadays, the content creation process is highly manual and strongly dependent on human involvement. Entire agencies hire hundreds of people to produce various types of content. And a significant portion of this task is quite routine and does not require much creativity. That's why generative AI, to be honest, can easily handle this task due to its ability to adapt existing AI models using techniques like prompt engineering, fine-tuning, using RNG framework. And of course, Gen AI models can generate the content and its variation follow business rules, style guides, and other guidelines that align with the client workflows, with the client's use cases. And for example, the most useful use cases for Gen AI is text writing, code generation, visual content creation, summarization. As well, we're speaking about key messages and claims generation. It's not an issue for AI to generate the claims, to find the reference, and other stuff. But on the other hand, as Daniel mentioned, the pharmaceutical industry is highly regulated. And this regulation, to be honest, is justified because as a consumer of the pharmaceutical products, I fully support these regulations because the cost of the mistakes it's significantly high. However, all these regulations, of course, have impact on the content creation, and in particular, they impact time to market because content must firstly be developed with all these regulations and restrictions in mind. And before going live, it must go through the careful validation process, known as MLR. And here we are speaking about MarTech tools like eWizard that offering a maximum process automation by using rule-based content creation and validation in their functionality. And by taking over a large portion of this task, Gen AI frees up humans' time for creativity, for discovering innovative approaches to problem solving, and to optimizing overall process. And here I want to share some Stuart Monton quote regarding the AI revolution. And Stuart Monton said that the AI revolution is going to make humans more human. And I fully agree with that. And I truly believe that we are here to make that true. Because having all capabilities we have, we can make this dream true. Yeah, and now I want to give you a few words, Dan, regarding to present our MLR acceleration engine. Just give few thoughts, give few words from your side, please.
Then you're
Yes.
muted.
Sorry. Yeah. Thanks, Roman, for that. I think they're great insights. And if I try to like boil it down, right, in terms of what some of the key points that you made there, I really feel there are around three things, right? That would be Gen AI, which you talked about, which is content creation. So the automated generation of either content drafts or variants and localized versions, which again just speeds up the entire process. You talked about AI powered tagging and things around that. So improve searchability and reusability through automated tagging and metadata generation. This is extremely important. And then the last thing is around ML, and NLP for enhanced content analysis and compliance checking, really reducing those review times and compliance risks. And that's what we want to show you today. While Viseven in combination with AWS have capabilities around all three of these, we're going to focus today on the benefits to the business and putting emphasis on the reduction of time to market and reduction of cost with full scalability with a reduced need to hire additional headcount. So what you're going to see in this video is our lead product manager, Maxime Shahid, who's going to walk through our MLR acceleration engine and really show you and focusing on the benefits to your business and how this can help. So go ahead, moderators. I'll have you go ahead and cue the demo.
Hi guys, and welcome to MLR Acceleration Engine overview. MLR Acceleration Engine validates content created in Wizard against a configurable set of rules, generating what we call success probability score, which you can see on top of some cards. And this score provides an ability to quickly understand the chances of passing MLR approval with flying colors. The set of rules is configurable and can be defined per client. It is very important to note that each client operates on an isolated tenant with a separate large language model trained on the client's knowledge base for both security purposes and to deliver better verification results. The business value of the engine relies in the significant reduction of time to market, elimination of human-generated errors, reduction of paid man-hours of editors and reviewers, reduction of paid hours of MLR team, and easy scalability without the necessity to hire and fire team members depending on project workload. So let's have a look-see on how it works. Now let me create a blank content that has not been verified yet. As you can see, this content has no score. It's brand new. So I can go directly to MLR Acceleration Engine through the context menu, or I can validate the content on the background in order to keep doing something else in a wizard. So I click validate. As you can see a toaster message appears in bottom right corner of the screen. Now content is being validated against the similar assets in the DOM. The validation has ended. I got 10% score, which is pretty low because in this particular account, the threshold of applicable score has been set to 90%. That's why this card has 92% score and the seal is green, while here we have an orange seal and a 10% score. So let's go to MLR Acceleration Engine and see what's wrong. Once I open MLR Acceleration Engine, I can see the error labels on top of the content. I can disable them by clicking this eye icon and enable them again. And I can see the list of issues identified in the left sidebar, where each asset from the content has a separate block with list of issues. So let's have a look at this one because it has all 4 issues that we are currently enabled for this demo. And let's see what happens there. So we have 4 issues which are unverified asset, which means that this asset wasn't added from the DOM. The system, MLR Acceleration Engine, can work with any DOM our clients deal with. In this particular case, this asset has not been added from the DOM, but system has found that there are similarly looking assets in the DOM, and it suggests to add them instead of this one because those assets could have approval status, etc., etc., etc. Next thing is missing references, is because this statement is missing references to any claims or documents supporting this statement. Third is not approved asset, which means that this asset is either not added from the DAM or it doesn't have approval status in the DAM. In case it had it, would see that locally or globally approved. And finally, there is a grammatic error identified by the system, which is a missing comma after nowadays, which makes perfect sense from the English grammar point of view. Okay, now let's see this improve and skip buttons. Depending on user access and permissions, these buttons can do different things. For example, with lowest actually access, the only thing they do is they affect the calculation of this score. For example, if I skip several issues, I can see that the score has been improved, but it did not made any effect on the content itself, and it does not make any effect on other content validated in this account. If I had editor's access, for example, for now, each click like improve or skip would apply these suggestions to the content. And if I have the highest access level, these actions would not only apply these suggestions to current content, but in case I skip some issue, it will train the model to skip similar issues for other content in the future. All these things are fully configurable and can match any particular business need, based on team experience, based on how your business model works, etc., etc. Fully configurable. And in case I know as an editor that something has changed in the DAM, for example, this asset got approval status, I can click validate again, and in that case, system will go to the DAM and update statuses of all the assets in the content to bring better understanding of what is going on right now. That's pretty much it. So in order to deliver fast, quality and reliable solution, we've built the engine operating in AWS cloud with the use of combination of the advanced Amazon AI features, which are Amazon Bedrock, Amazon SageMaker, Amazon Titanium Multimodal Embedding, Amazon Recognition, Amazon Comprehend, and Amazon Text Track. Okay, now this is how MLR Acceleration Engine looks right now. And let me show you a couple of slides depicting how it will look in the future, because we have released 4th iteration recently. We have 2 more iterations in development right now, and we are planning to release 4 more iterations in the observable future. Of course, it will not be the end. MLR Acceleration Engine will be improving all the time because market is changing and we are always on the verge, on the very edge of the market in order to deliver you high quality services. So this particular mockup is, let me enlarge it. Okay, this particular mockup depicts a configuration pane where you can enable, disable particular rules, view or hide certain statuses of the assets, and so on and so forth. Now we are planning, so you could filter, sort and filter all the issues identified for for simplicity. Now system will suggest, whenever you are dealing with a particular issue, system will suggest what assets it can be replaced with, as I already demonstrated in the live screen right here. So now next thing is we will be doing the same with the images. So for example, you have these images that is not approved, for example, and system will suggest you something that is already in the DAM, it has approval status, or it has demonstrated some, great results during previous demonstrations, during previous, iterations of marketing campaigns. So users loved it, for example, clicked a lot on this image. So therefore, system will suggest it based on the results of previous marketing campaigns. Then we will also suggest references, and system will look for claims in the claims library, and in case claims are not found, system will also look in reference documentation and in case something matching is found, system will suggest creating a claim and linking it to a particular statement, which will be done automatically if in case user chooses to do so. Okay, what else? Yeah, in this particular case, system will suggest different images based on our suggestion engine, based on the Amazon AI features that I've spoke about just a couple of minutes ago. For example, in this case, this image is marked as an issue because it's not approved and it's an aggressive image because we have this rule enabled, like aggressiveness of an image. In that case, system will suggest something that already exists in the DAM that is less aggressive and that has an approval status. This and many other rules will be okay. Now this one and another one, it suggests that the asset has been taken from the DAM, but then it was modified, and therefore it shows how the current version and the original version looks like, which may suggest switching to the source, the original version that is being approved instead of using the modified version. These and many other rules are coming very soon, and MLR acceleration engine will be delivering real magic. Okay, thanks for watching, and have a nice day.
Great. Yeah. So thanks, Maxime, for walking through that. I think, what we've demonstrated there again is the business value around that time to market, leveraging the power of all of the integrations that we have with AWS and all of the offerings that they have. We can really make this come to life for our customers. So I think it looks like we're ahead of time here around 10:30, right? And so I think we have some time to actually, I'll kick it over to Roman. I think we're going to be able to actually show you some of our AI assistant capabilities, because I believe it's really relevant to this conversation as well. So in addition to what Maxime showed around our MLR acceleration engine, Viseven also offers our AI assistant, which covers off some of the other topics that we've discussed around the challenges that the life sciences industry faces. So Roman, I'll kick it over to you. Yeah, sorry, Dennis, please. Yeah, go ahead.
Before we go to Roman,
Yeah.
just a couple of thoughts regarding this MLI acceleration is currently a topic which is of high interest for customers. And I believe also it's good because we discussed about MLR is currently a bottleneck. So if you are not helping or enabling the MLR process also with intelligent automation, the pain for the life science industry will only become bigger. So I believe it's very good that the industry is also looking at that. At the same time, it's also a very sensitive use case. And I would like to also mention a couple of points, what we have seen when we are working there with customers. So I think we all agree that also data quality and integrity is really also key to be successful with such a use case. So the use of high quality, diverse, representative data sets also for training then of the models is something also which is very much critical, because if you've heard it's a combination there of AI, machine learning, and natural language processing then to create those deviation analysis, those risk scores. And it only works if also it's trained really on representative data, and also it's continuously evolved. So that is something we have seen what is very much important. Another point I would like to make is also around the transparency and explainability. We are dealing here with medical affairs team, legal teams, regulatory affairs teams. Those teams are very sensitive in terms of whenever you use AI technologies, they don't really like black boxes. So it's very much important that when you use those kind of technologies, that also you ensure that those AI systems then that the decision-making process of those systems also interpretable. That is really transparent. It's interpretable. It's not a black box system, and that people really learn how then AI is also doing those kind of recommendation, then flagging some kind of deviations. I believe with also clear explanations why was a certain paragraph flagged in terms of deviation there. I believe that is also something extremely important to be successful. And the last point I would like to make here is, at the end, we are also very clear. Technology is only augmenting humans. So human oversight, in particular for use case like MLI acceleration, is really critical, so that you make sure that you maintain human experts in the loop for all of the final decision making, but also that the human experts can also give feedback, and you're using then this feedback also for reinforced learning, then that your technology is also getting better with the human feedback, so that at the end you implement a system for human review of AI generated results, rather than you try to replace any humans then with which AI generated results. It's really a technology which will augment people, which will help people to focus on the critical stuff, but rather than that they will replace them. And I believe in particular for such use case in the beginning, that you start also with a kind of a low confidence interval, that you have a lot of reviews of people in the beginning, so that people are getting more comfortable with the technology and then can provide feedback, is very much critical also to be able then to scale such a use case for MLI acceleration.
Great points, Dennis. Absolutely agree. Yeah.
Yeah, as well, I just want to add, to be honest, common AI models or even large language models without training, without the context and without the domain of the client, to be honest, useless. And good news here is next that we are able, having smart technologies, we are able to tune these models to make it smarter. As I just mentioned a few minutes ago, using some kind of prompt engineering, fine-tuning, and RAG framework, we're able to extend knowledge base for AI model. And finally, using all this knowledge base, having in place performance metrics from the fields as well, having some comments from MLR review process, we are able to continuously tune the model and make it smarter and smarter, with each cycle better and better. That's why, especially if you're speaking about this kind of attention is all you need, why I mentioned that, because these self-attention mechanisms try to mimic human behavior. Of course, it's only beginning, and the future, I think so, we will see new ways of new architecture for model trainings and so on and so forth. But right now, even having this set of tools, and especially having cloud-based solution, we are able to automate a huge amount of routine work. Really a huge amount of routine work, and of course, free up some time for creativity, for thinking about, for creating something new, and so on and so forth. And as well, we have some questions regarding the in the chat. I will read it. How about validating content against different pharma codes of practice ABPI and others? And I want to answer that the model we have trained particularly for particular client, based on the client's rule, based on the necessary rule they want to follow, we are able to tune it. And of course, all the data, all the models, fully secured, stored using some multi-tenancy approach. And of course, we don't share any information between tenants. And each client can decide what kind of knowledge base they want to use with the model they want to use to train the model finally. But but of course, right now we're speaking about augmentation, about to help finally AI help people to be more productive, to cover routine work.
And that actually speaks to one of the questions that came in here as well, Roman, which is around like sort of, how much can we really rely on these engines? And, the reality of that is, as you mentioned, right, this is not to replace, this is to augment. So as these systems get smarter, they will obviously enable and help, the MLR process better and better, but it is in conjunction with a human, right? It's to speed that process up, to give them the tools and the indication that they need to enable them with a high confidence that some things do need to be changed before you send that on, right, to MLR review, because there's a high probability that there may be some back and forth. So let the engine, work with you, but at the end of the day, this is in conjunction with a human. So it's a great question by Anastasia here.
Thanks a lot. So, moving to our next session. As Roman highlighted the potential of AI in automating content creation and improving workflows, the next step is understanding how to implement these technologies on the largest scale. Finally, Dennis will walk us through strategies to deploying AI initiatives at a scale. As AI becomes increasingly integrated across enterprises, understanding how to build the right infrastructure is key to success. Dennis, please guide on what it takes to lead an organization through this pivotal transformation.
Yeah. Um, Thanks for the question. So, first of all, what I would like to say, our I think the topic of our webinar is moving beyond pilots. Still, what we have seen, what is very much important in the beginning, you start with a pilot. You need to have a clearly defined use case where you feel that AI can really help you in terms of creating more efficiency, more productivity, and then you implement that pilot. You learn from that. You ideate very quickly, and then you also then need to scale that across the organization. So what we have seen is what is very much important, also to choose the right use case in the beginning where the organization is also comfortable with. When we discuss about AI in content management, now we discussed about MLI acceleration. It's very promising, but there are also some more lower hanging fruit use cases, like for example, using AI for tagging, for auto tagging, and that is still something what we see in the industry is not done on a consistent way. Still a very manual process. It's also, the accuracy and the consistency, it's only around 60 to 70% if it's done manual. What we have seen with technology, when you use AI and natural language process to do this in an automated way, accuracy can go up to over 90%. Of course, the time there you spend for this very much manual task will go down by more than 60%. So that's what we have seen in pilot implementation with customers. So what I also would like to say, choose very wisely the first use case to start with, so that you are getting comfortable with the technology. I would not start with the highest risk area in the beginning. I would start with something where you can really learn as the organization, drive momentum from that, and then move towards more kind of higher risk areas, like, for example, MLI acceleration and others. What we have seen is what is also very much important for scaling those kind of use cases is you need also to have a very clearly defined change management process along your efforts in scaling AI solutions. And it starts first and foremost with executive sponsorship. So you need to have a strong leadership conviction saying, okay, we see the need that we need to use and leverage technologies such as AI to drive more efficiency and productivity across our organization. And you need to have this executive sponsorship because that's so much important for then also successful AI adoption across the organization. That means also then when you do that, a very clear change communication. So what it means, in the past we have done this very manual. Now we are leveraging AI in order to help us with intelligent automation, and that needs to be transparently communicated across all the key stakeholders in the organization, because that's also so much critical that the people are really put along that journey, also with constant and transparent communication. What also we have seen is sometimes customers have analysis paralysis. Of course, at the beginning, when you start such a journey, you think about a lot of things in terms of how to start that, how to scale this later. What we have seen, what is very much important, is avoid analysis paralysis. Start also with an agile implementation effort, as said, using agile methodologies to first of all select on a use case, work backwards then to decide what's the right technology to address that use case, and then really also start learning. You will do your pilot, you will learn from that, you can iterate from that, but really being very agile in terms of also deploying that, implementing that. I believe it's also something we have seen what is very much important. And the last thing I would like to stress is when you select on the use case, also have scalability at the end and impact for the organization in mind. I believe I was working for the industry for more than 26 years, and I think we have a tendency, what I always call as, pilotitis, in a way, a disease where we do a lot of pilots and then we are not able to scale. And that's also what we see at the moment with a lot of use cases which are done in AI. What is very much important is to be very clear in terms of, once you have done the pilot, how you can really scale that use case as an enterprise capability, and really also then create the impact that you are able then to move beyond the first promising results, and really then also can drive impact across the organization with that. And that is also something very much important in the beginning, to decide on the right use case, how you then also will be able to scale that and really implement that as an enterprise capability, to avoid this pilotitis we sometimes still see in the life science industry.
We've covered a lot of ground today, but Roman, then, if you have something to add to Dennis, please.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, Dennis did cover a lot there, right? And I'm in full agreement. I think, around, deploying AI for those content transformational at scale. I think, starting with pilots and trying not to get into that pilotitis, which I've never heard before, but I love that term, Dennis, because I can see how you get into that. But really, to show, in those pilots, how do you demonstrate the value and build that momentum is obviously very, very important. And then, I guess, which Dennis touched on a bit, but is around, that effective change management, right? We really need to, inside your organization, foster a culture of collaboration and trust in the AI technology, right? But this must be supported by clear communication and training. But yeah, I mean, I think, Dennis covered it, but those are like the key points that I've gotten out of that. But over to you, Roman. Any additional things to add there?
Yeah, I want to add, to be honest, unfortunately, many promising initiatives fail during the implementation phase, because it's a hardest part to implement that. And leadership, from my point of view, it's a crucial thing, and Dennis mentioned that. And if you're speaking especially about AI, to have AI advocate as a part of the team it's a quite good approach. Finally, internal scaling, bringing the value, showing the value, and calculating the ROI helps to implement, help to scale the AI solutions, AI technology in the companies, in the enterprise. Yeah, and agile approach, to be honest, it's a good approach. Especially, it's a good to treat any initiatives we have as a project. Having great project plan, have a roadmap, having strict timelines, because sometimes, as you just mentioned, it's like never-ended story. Let's do something, but where the end? That's why I fully agree with your opinion, Dennis.
Yeah. There is also, I think, a great comment by Tamara in terms of what kind of change management strategies we can recommend when encountering also resistance to change. And I remember one project we have done, and that's also a very important point for every project you're doing. Be also very clear about those success matrices, those KPIs. So people need to see the impact. People need to see the momentum. And that is very much important, because if they don't see the return on investment there, or the impact you can drive with a certain initiative, they lose very quickly interest. And I give you an example with the customer where we have worked on content generation using generative AI for content generation. Of course, it's a huge topic at the moment. A lot of customers are very excited about that. As said, and I think we discussed it in the beginning, don't forget, yes, it's great. You can use generative AI for content generation and variant generation, but also think about, you need to have your downstream processes also in a good order when it comes to tagging, when it comes to MLI acceleration, because otherwise you have a lot of content, but you are not really able to measure that. You're not really able to also reuse the content if you don't have tagging, and also good MLR processes in place. And that, of course, will delay also content to market. But in this specific pilot, just would like to highlight how we have approached that, because also we were thinking about how can we convince the organization. And it was a project we have done in different markets, where when then we said, look, the idea was to create educational content for healthcare professionals. And the idea was we wanted to benchmark what the typical agency-led approach is doing versus then using generative AI to do that. So we have done that in 3 pilot markets. And then we have defined also then a kind of a double blind testing group, who then was looking also at the outcome. So what we have done in this pilot was really having a group of people then looking at the outcome of the generated content from the agency, and then also from the AI. And the good thing about that was nobody was aware, because it was double blind, from which area this was coming. And then the very interesting thing was that in this pilot, people highlighted the content which was generated by AI much higher than that was coming from the agency. So where you also can see, and think Daniel was making that point, those large language models are evolving very fast. So we have seen in whatever half a year ago, 9 months ago, it was already okay outcome. But if you look at the latest model now from Anthropic, for example, so the quality what you are getting in terms of reasoning capabilities, also putting quality content and context together, it's really getting amazing. And that's also what we have seen in this project, that the quality and the accuracy which was then generated by the AI for this educational content was even rated higher than from the agency. On top of that, what we have rated also was then the cost implications. So in this example, you can, for a typical content asset, that I think it was around 1,500 US dollars or 2,000 US dollars, using the AI for that, it was only 15 US dollars. And that was, depending on prompt engineering, how many revisions you have done. So you can see huge cost efficiency. And then, of course, in terms of how long it took, it was done in minutes versus the typical, weekly process and 2 weeks or whatever to work there with a creative agency on that. So that is one example I would like to highlight, which is very much important when you do those projects and you feel some resistance. You need to have very strong KPIs in place. You really need to measure the outcome so that you can really create this excitement and then also this momentum in the organization. And I can tell you, when the people then have seen those results, they have really been, very impressed by. And that, of course, then is creating a lot of momentum to say, look, we are better trusting now this technology. It can really enable us to get much more efficient, much more productive. And then also it creates momentum for the whole organization really to embark on that journey.
Thanks a lot, Dennis. So, dear audience, if you have any other questions for our panelists, please feel free to submit them in the comment section. And another question from the audience, from Tamara. The issue I see is that companies often do not know which metrics to measure when it comes to AI. What should we track to understand whether our AI-driven content is successful?
Yeah, perhaps I can start, and then you guys can add to that. So first of all, I think content impact measurement, by the way, it's still one of the biggest struggle we have in the life science industry, because I think we are good to measure some quantitative measures in terms of how long you stay on a certain content element, how many people have clicked through to certain content. Where we are not so strong is really understanding what kind of impact that had created in terms of customer behavioral change. Though that is something I believe still the industry is struggling with. When it particularly comes to AI-driven content, I believe it's not really different than for any other content, where it's very much important. First of all, I believe what is very much important is you need to have this granularity also of tagged content and modules within this composite content asset, where you then can really understand what are really elements which are really resonating with my customer. So one very important element is that you have really a very granular granular tagging implemented, that you're able then also to measure not only the impact by content itself, but also what sections, for example, what messaging, what supporting material, for example, is really then driving also customer behavioral change. So something what we have seen is what is very much important. You need to have this granularity then of all those different content atoms you then use for your composite asset, and those need to be tagged in a very granular way, because otherwise it's getting very difficult if you are then, for example, using that with your Viva engagement and then also different other channels, that it's very difficult then really to measure what is really driving then this customer behavioral change and bringing the customer on a higher level of the adoption curve. So that's what I would suggest is something what we have seen is very much important, because if that is missing, of course, then it's very difficult to measure any kind of content impact.
Yeah, I think, I mean, you could keep the same kind of impacts tracking that you're using today, right? So the standard things that you're tracking are, I mean, if you're talking about, emails, you're talking about open rates and things like that. But I think where AI becomes into play here was around, I think what you mentioned, Dennis, in the beginning, is around personalization of that content. So what is it that we can do to help the personalization, where you can generate pieces of content on demand that are more relevant to the audience on an individual basis, which by nature is going to, I think, increase the impact of it. It's going to increase the open rates, or the in terms of how they relate to that content. So it's just another way. I don't know that it's changing how you in terms of you're really measuring it, but I think what you will see is an increase in the measure of the existing metrics that you already have, because of the things around personalization, which AI can certainly help with. So it's another thing that came to mind, Dennis, around this.
Yeah, that, and you're totally right. And these are I think the typical metrics we have anyhow for any type of content, where we have our engagement metrics, where we have conversion metrics,
right,
where of course we are looking also at some kind of content quality metrics, but then also where, of course, what is very much important is also getting directly user feedback. When I have shared the pilot with you, that was of course an internal group. You also can do that, with your customers, other things like, surveys, net promoter scores, other things. And then, of course, at the end, it's also in terms of, is it really impacting also from a parent equity perspective, from an audience growth perspective, from a prescription capture perspective. I believe these are the typical KPIs. And I believe this will not be different from AI generated content,
right.
Because at the end, it's, as we all said, it's only helping then also to create a good draft. Also, that I'm not misunderstood here, it will not replace agencies. Also, agencies will work with that.
Right.
I believe our opportunity is now we can do this cheaper, we can do this faster, we can improve the impact, we can really go much closer to those holy grail of personalization at scale. And that's why we are very much excited about that. So it's really a technology which will enable and augment, but not necessarily replace. And that is something very much important. And I believe we will see a lot of transformation there coming in the life science industry as well.
Thanks a lot for answering question. And in the end of our webinar, we want to show you a quick demo of content generation. Roman, please.
Yeah, just please show the screen. Yeah, of the sake of time, I will try to explain really quickly what exactly we have and what we're going to release right now, because currently we are testing this functionality on our development environment, and the main goal we have, of course, to automate the process of content creation and speed up the process of content creation. Speaking about metrics, of course, we want to reduce the cost of the content production. We want to reduce the amount of time and time to market, and finally achieve scalability and possibility to create the content quicker for different kinds of regions. Right now, you can see on my screen, it's our platform, it's eVisard, and our solutions. The main aim of our solution to help our clients to manage the content, to create the content, and to deliver the content to target tools, to target execution platforms. As AI technology gives us more opportunities to automate routine work, right now, with our solution, you're able to create different kind of content using some drag and drop approach. Just open the presentation, open the email, and drag and drop to create the content. With AI capabilities, we are able to automate this process. What you have to do, choosing the right type of content you want, for example, in this case, it's broadcast email, and fulfill the AI assistant metadata, like what's the topic, what's the target audience, what's the calm. As well, you can put some prompt, what exactly you want to create. Our solution suggests you particular template that exactly cover your needs and automatically generates the content for you with several options, with several variants. All these variants you can see here on this right side. As I mentioned before, content and model creates the content based on the client's business rules, based on the client's knowledge base, based on the performance metrics for the marketing automation tools from the CRM, and suggests the assets, suggests a claim, suggests a text that perform better. For example, if it's okay for you, I mean, this variation you can see on the screen, it's cover all your needs. You can just publish this content to target system. But sometimes you want to change something. In this case, you just need to select one piece of the content. For example, you have to change this kind of text. You just click on it. You are able to prompt and to tell what exactly you want to change. And our solution will, first of all, suggest you exact text you need from the DAM, because it's better to use pre-existed content, approved content to create something, to minimize the amount of pinpoint between this MLR. But of course, sometimes you don't have particular text in the DAM. In this case, AI engine, AI assistant will generate the new content, the new text based on your initial text and based on your prompt. And of course, we add these labels to highlight that its content was created by AI or this content was pulled automatically from the DAM. It's the same behavior for the images. You can see that these three images was suggested from the DAM, and this one generated by the AI using models that can do that. As well, the same behavior for the modules and for modular approach. Choosing the exact module, AI engine, I mean AI assistant, will be able to suggest some options, some variants for you from the DAM. This one, or a mix between some content from the DAM and some content generated by the AI. If you're speaking about the content creation process, you are able to use some predefined templates of blocks, and our solution are also fulfill your blocks with necessary information from the DAM or generate new assets for you on the fly. You can see that you put some placeholder to the email, and finally AI assistant fulfill this content. I want to highlight one more time that AI uses your knowledge base, uses your performance metric from marketing automation solutions, use your behavioral information from different kind of solutions you utilize, you leverage in your use case in your company, and of course, each fix, each suggestion, each interaction with the content as well trains the model, as well tunes the model. Depends, of course, your permissions we set on the system. Yeah, it's a really quick demo to explain what exactly we are going to release really soon. Finally, we are testing it on our development environment, and really soon this magic, this possibility of content generation with AI and content suggestion, you will be able to use in your eWizard instance. Yeah, thank you very much. Sorry for so quick demo.
Thanks a lot, Roman, for highlighting us this new feature. We are all waiting it to see live in a wizard. As we come to an end of our today's insightful webinar, I'd like to extend a big thank you to our speakers for sharing their expertise and perspectives. Thank you as well to all our audience for joining us today. We hope you've gained valuable insights into how AI transforms life science content management. Our experts will answer all the questions in the comments if you still have some of them. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.